Hey, this is Sperry, and I'm here today to tell you guys about something that I find pretty fucking annoying in this game. And this is actually behavior that is exhibited by a lot of my old YouTube fans and probably some of the new ones. And I think the source of a lot of this, unfortunately, came from the ranting communities back in the good old days of 2012, 2013, etc., etc. Maybe even a little bit before that in some of the YouTube scene, maybe some of it on Reddit. There's a lot of sources for this, but a lot of it has to do with hive minding and trying to be extreme and edgy and all that shit. But in a nutshell, one of the things that I find the most annoying about this community is the elitism. And some of the ways where having an edgy opinion that makes someone seem hardcore seems to be the prevailing opinion, even if there's almost no logical semblance behind it. So, I'm going to dissect a few opinions and rationales that I consider to be very edgy in this community and explain to you all why I think this idea and this notion of elitism is fucking stupid. So, first of all, there's a lot of elitists about the fucking gag tracks in this game. And I mean this quite seriously. You'd think, okay, there's 7 gag tracks, you pick 6 of them. Okay, great. There can't be that much elitism in the game. But no, there is. And I know what you guys are thinking I'm going to say here. It will not be what you're expecting me to say, I can tell you that much. So, there's a lot of elitists who seem to somehow think that just going for the fucking edgiest lineups is the best. For example, I've seen many tunes arguing that being tune-upless is the strongest in the game because you get the ability to heal other people. You get the ability to do more fucking damage, and it allows you to not rely on the crutch that is tune-up, and it allows you to basically be this badass carry lord who never makes a mistake and all this bullshit, blah blah blah. Well, you know what? Looking at it objectively, think about how fucking dumb that is. You're saying that it's the best because it doesn't rely on a crutch. Why would you not want that additional crutch if it's literally just a fucking advantage? There are many situations in this game where having tune-up is straight up undeniably one of the most important things you can have, probably along with lure. If any gag misses, which is completely RNG based, it has nothing to do with anything other than RNG, that's going to cause you a major problem unless you have tune-up. And I mean, tune-up increases the accuracy of lure. If you use it in proper instances, it can save you a fuck ton of rewards. It can just make things smooth. Have you ever tried to do a fucking 4-tune CEO with all tune-upless tunes? I can tell you that you guys will be spamming the fuck out of Flippy because, believe it or not, tune-up actually has some use in this game, especially when things miss. Now, if all you do is back 9s all day, maybe you forgot that tune-up actually has a use, but anytime your gags miss, you actually will benefit from it, and it increases the accuracy of lure. Now, that's not to say that being tune-upless is a bad thing. My original tune on the old game was tune-upless, and I loved it. I thought it was great, but I think it's pretty dumb and stupid to just say that tune-upless is the best in the game because of the whole idea that you can solo a little bit better, and because it removes a crutch from the game. It's an example of one of these edgy opinions that's just passed around because it's the cool, hip thing to say. You know, and then everybody thinks drop is the fucking most important gag in the game too. Because, you know, oh, it makes your fucking besties hit. Well, great. I love drop. I'll probably never make a tune again in my life that's dropless. But, sorry to break it to you all, drop is not that good of a gag track. If you just want to play PvE, if you want to play this game in any formation whatsoever, drop is not that fucking good. I'm sorry. If you want to solo shit, you want to spam the rewards that you got in a group setting by yourself for no gain other than feeling cool about yourself, great. I do that shit all the time because I think it's fun, but it doesn't mean that drop is the holy grail of this fucking game. Objectively speaking, I think drop is a little bit better than trap. That's just because it has more general usage between the 4 HQs, but I think in terms of overall utility, it is undeniably the second weakest gag, because think about it. If you're doing a DA office, there's literally no use for drop in the entire game. If you're doing a fucking Boolean mint, you have no use for drop. Almost no use for drop in the CJ. I would say very minimal usage for drop in the CJ. You can use drop in the CEO, but again, the situations that you're using drop are so nuanced and rare. I probably use maybe 1 or 2 pianos as CEO max. That is not a lot of drop. And even so, in most of those instances, a cake would have been perfectly replaceable for the drop. I would say in over half of those instances. So it's not useless, it's just not undeniably better. I'm sure that on average in a CEO I use more tune-up than drop. And I'm sure that on instance when I'm getting all of my promotions aside from boss bot because of the fucking healing in boss bot, tune-up is completely useless in boss bot, but generally speaking, drop does not have that much utility or use in the game unless you want to solo shit. But again, it's all the edgy elitists think drop is like the fucking holy grail of this game. Because you can solo with it, and because it's great, whatever. I mean, honestly, in 95% of circumstances, the situation between drop and trap comes down to personal preference, maybe even which HQ you like better. If you mostly do things in Cash Bot and Law Bot HQ, you'll probably get more use out of trap than drop, to be perfectly honest with you. I would say that if I was doing a mint or a DA's office looking objectively, I would rather take a tune with trap than drop. I'm not saying I would have a rejected tune for not having trap, but trap is a more useful gag than drop. In about half the things in this game, and drop's a little bit more useful than trap. And some of the other factors, such as the fact that you can solo if drop, it makes your besties not hit. And drop is slightly more useful in the situations that it's useful than trap is in the situations where it's useful. Makes it a little bit better, but it's such a negligible thing. There are so many more instances where tune-up is going to make a difference for you, where having tune-up is the difference between needing to spam a fucking flippy or unite and not having it. Imagine if no one in your group had fucking tune-up, it would be disgusting. So, I think this whole notion of elitism in the gag tracks is stupid. And then there's this whole elitism, either for or against soundless. There's tons of circle jerks about it. Look, objectively speaking, not having sound makes things take longer. It has nothing to do with player skill. I saw a run where 4 of the best tunes in this game, I'm talking about 4 of the people who play this game like 12 hours a day for like the last 10 years, that did a 4-man back 9 with absolutely perfect strategy for what they could do with it. They really did try their best, and it took them 55 minutes. That's longer than an average back 9 with shitty tunes from Tune HQ. So, no. Soundless, particularly when everyone is soundless, directly just adds time to the run. It has nothing to do with your player skill. It's not really something about soundless tunes being pieces of shit. It just adds time to the game. So, anyone who's a fucking elitist who thinks, you know, fucking soundless is more skill, I'm sorry, it's not. There's nothing more skillful about having things take longer in the game. You may enjoy playing the style without sound better. That's completely reasonable if you like that, but it's not more skillful. It's just clicking different buttons. What you could say is that it requires you to know these basic strategies. Like, you need to know the combos and patterns for soundless. It's not more skillful to know these patterns, but if you don't know what the fuck you're doing, it's more punishing to go without sound. So I agree that playing with sound maybe has more of a crutch for people that are brain dead because the strategies are more prevalent, but really, playing with or without sound, not everyone requires skill. It just requires you to know a couple of clicking combos and buttons and shit. Like, that's about it. I mean, I don't even know what to say. So, that's just what I think. And then the whole circle jerk against soundless. Look, they take longer to play. They're not fucking, like, you know, the soundless tunes are not the next incarnation of the fucking devil, if you believe in the devil. It's not that bad. It just adds a few minutes to the run. You don't need to freak out and post a fucking rant on Reddit. Like, that's not gonna be the solution to this shit. Look, you just, if you don't want to go with a soundless, you don't go with a soundless. It's not a big deal. It just adds a little time to the run. They're human beings too. I don't fucking know. I think all the circle jerking behind gags is fucking stupid. And especially this elitism between, like, and then, if you've seen all the tunes on Toontown Fellowship, almost everyone's fucking throwless or squirtless on there because they want to be edgy and different. So they leave off what are undeniably 2 of the best gags in the game just because they want to be edgy and different. That's another example of fucking elitism. You just want to stand out and be cool. It's fucking great. You know what? I don't know. Somehow, after a while, all the fucking elitism grates on me a little bit. And yeah, I know this one's a little ad hominem. I know this one's a little bit all over the fucking place. I'm really just making this video because I'm bored and I want to rant. This is not some kind of eloquent argument. This one's really just my opinions. And so if you don't like it, that's completely fine. If you disagree with something I'm saying, I'm sure there are plenty of logical holes in what I'm saying. I'm just kind of fucking going for it. Hopefully you can respect that. So, anyhow. Oh, that's a fucking wrong combo. Yeah, almost forgot. What the? Okay, I fucking forgot what the combo is. Forget that shit. We're doing this in one take because I don't give a shit. No script, no plan. We're doing it in one take. Apologies to everyone who has to sit through this shit. So, we've got the basics covered for fucking gags. Let's look at the elitists in the VP. Alright, so we got suit elitists. We got the people who fucking think because they have a high suit, they're God's gift to this fucking game. They block the elevator. They just sit there and talk about noobs for 20 minutes on Reddit. They make videos about fucking noobs. They sit in the lobby and complain about noobs. They'll tell you how many noobs they've greened. They'll tell you how great it is that they're better than noobs. They'll laugh about it. You know what? Literally the only determining thing in this game that determines how good your gags are, how good your suit is, it's not experience, and it's not skill. You know what it is? It's fucking time. The fact that I'm 121 laugh points and someone watching this video might be like 20 laugh, it doesn't mean I'm more skilled than them. Not even necessarily more experienced than them in the long run. It doesn't mean that I'm a better player than them. It just means I've put more hours into this game than they have. There's no reason to have elitism or be proud about your stats in this game compared to somebody else, when quite literally everything in this game is just a measure or a function of time. Now, if you can do a CJ round with fucking frame perfect evidence, whatever, that's skill, I'll give that to you. It's still not nearly as impressive as doing something in like any other video game, but I'll give you that that is directly an equation of skill. However, if you're just max suits, if you marginally know how to use mouse keys, if you have like 100 of every SOS card because you play the game all day, there's nothing wrong with that. There's completely nothing wrong with that, but you shouldn't feel like you're better than other players because you spent more time. Literally just because you spent more time playing the game. There's a good chance you're not nearly as good as you think you are. You probably didn't learn shit. Look, I mean this quite honestly. You could learn every skill in this game probably within 24 hours if you gave this to like an average gamer. I could give this game to somebody who was like an avid player of video games. They could probably learn how to do all 4 bosses quite competently, if not excellently, within 24 hours. They could learn all the combos they need to play this game competently, if not excellently, within literally 24 hours of playtime if they didn't have to grind for their gags and shit. It's a very simple game. There's nothing wrong with that. It's supposed to be a casual, fun game, but there's no reason for fucking elitism because you think you're good at the game. Sorry, you're not. Just throwing it out there. You can't be... It's very hard to really stand out as a uniquely great individual in this game at Toontown. There are a few exceptions to that. The only one I know personally by name is Legendary Ninja Dog because I've had him on Skype. I've known him a little bit more personally. There are some other people who have demonstrated exceptional skill in the game through the fastest solos possible, frame perfect shit. You know, there are some people who have demonstrated exceptional skill in this game, and I don't want to take that away from them. But for 99.9% of you out there, myself completely included in this, by the way, we don't know what the fuck we're doing in this game. We're not good at the game. We've just spent more time playing this game than we probably should have. And we shouldn't feel better than other people because of it. That's a dumb way to look at this. Sorry. So, quite honestly, if anyone has an extremely strong opinion out there about fucking noobs, about people just being dumb, about people making certain choices that are fucking retarded, like, quite honestly, there's a 95% chance you're taking it too seriously and you're being an elitist, and you really need to analyze what the fuck you're doing, in my opinion, because it's quite dumb. I mean, look at gardening. Am I a better player because I have gardening lap that literally requires me to click a button every day? Look, I even forgot my combos. You think I know what the fuck I'm doing? I don't. Look, I had to do that. I thought it was 4 cyan beans, and it was actually 1. Like, how am I any more qualified to give advice about this game than anyone else? I'm not. But what I can say is that anyone who takes themselves way too self-righteously over fucking Disney's Toontown Online rewritten edition, get a grip. Because I'm sure there's many examples I don't even talk about in this video. I just gave you 2 tiny examples of the gag tracks and of the suits. There's lots of other shit. Like, if people, like, I've heard people mention this in other videos, but, like, just because the people you're with aren't that good, berating them is not going to make them play better. I've seen this shit all the fucking time in back nines. I didn't see it as much in bullions for whatever reason. I think it's just because everybody kind of knew they were going to be retarded, but berating people who clearly don't know what they're doing is not going to make them play better. Believe it or not, getting somebody pissed off that they don't know what the fuck they're doing will not get the best out of them. They're not intentionally playing bad 90% of the time unless they're training gags or some shit, but they're just messing up combos, being edgy about it, and fucking berating them, calling them retarded, calling them autistic, whatever the fuck you do. That's not gonna make the situation better. And it's not really a very socially adept thing to do either. Like, think about how poor your social skills must be to do that shit. I mean that quite honestly. Like, holy fuck, you're just going up to people and calling them retarded because they're not as experienced at you in Disney's fucking Toontown Online Rewritten Edition. Get a grip of yourself, holy shit. That doesn't mean you can't try to give people advice, and it doesn't mean you can't get frustrated when people make mistakes, but just irrationally berating people and being a complete elitist is fucking dumb. It's completely fine to get a little upset when you're trying to have some fun and play a game. But I don't know. I think there's way too much elitism in this community, given the fact that this game is supposed to be simple and casual. That's just what I think. I'm starting to go on a bit more of tangents. There are some more examples. If I think of some more specific examples that I think are useful to add to the conversation, then I'll make another follow-up video on this. I could make a part 2. Also, if you have any specific examples of elitism that you see in the game that I did not cover because I missed most of them, I'm sure, please let me know. And also, if you disagree, if you think I'm wrong about this one, because I'm sure, and I mean this quite honestly, I'm sure at least half of you watching this video are elitists. That's okay. I'm just criticizing what I consider a wide range of behavior. I'm definitely not going to go after anyone in particular because I don't know 90% of you in person, and that's okay. So yeah, what the fuck am I doing? Okay, I fixed it. But anyhow, point stands. A lot of you are probably elitist and don't realize it. You do some of these behaviors I talked about, or other ones, where you literally think you're much better than all those around you. You don't even think about, I mean, you get your blood boiled about the concept of noobs. Like, that ruins your day, the idea that people could be worse than you at this fucking game. In even a mild discretion. Or because they made a choice you didn't like. They picked the wrong gag track. They're not the high suit. I don't fucking know. There's so many examples of elitism in this game. It's in every game, too. It's in fucking League of Legends every time I play ranked. That's why I throw my fucking headset, because every time I play ranked, people fucking are elitists, and they're like, I'm so much better than you, even though we're the same elo, and I duoed, trioed to get here, and you didn't. You know what? Everybody thinks they're better than they are. Not sure if that's a teenage thing, if it's a human nature thing. I really don't know what it is, but honestly, fuck all of you who think you're better than you actually are. And it's okay if you dislike this video or unsubscribe, because you know what? It's kind of fun to make these videos, even if they're not completely politically correct and they're a little over the top. So, thanks for watching. Let me know if you disagree with me, because I know a lot of you, quite honestly, do this shit. Tell me your rationale behind it. Please tell me your rationale behind it. I'd love to know why you're a fucking elitist in this game. Would love to hear your fucking rationale, and I mean that quite honestly. Feel free to dislike and unsubscribe if you're an elitist, by the way. Don't need you. And, again, if you have any other examples you think of fucking elitism in this game, please let me know. I know this one was super fucking rambling, and I apologize for that, but you know what? I think this was at least mildly entertaining at the very least, because this is some real off-the-cuff shit. It was just what I'm feeling. I didn't even have a plan. I just logged on the game and made this video, so. Thanks for watching. Let me know about the things I said before. Sorry for the sloppy video, and I'll see you guys again soon.